Goalkeeper for this opportunity, Ajibari, and it's one for Nigeria. Ball returns to the Malawians.
These players deserve commentators who know the teams and bring the match to life, yeah?
On the news that I heard that the SAFAC president for KZN has publicly come out, to declare his support for Danny Jordan. Now, Robert, please, can you bring this president onto your show? Just please ask him, whose mandate is he carrying? Is this the wish of the LFAs? Because this smells like corruption to me.
Yeah, corruption, very strong words, but I don't blame you for throwing it into the mix, though, because I've spoken to so many people and they're saying Sandile Zungu is in for a hiding and a half. The way that the software mechanisms and mechanics work out, the politicking and how that works out.
Sarop, I think first we need to congratulate Urelem Fuking. For him to be new in the team and be given such a huge responsibility, which he attempted the winning penalty, I think shows how much the team values him.
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
That is so accurate. Anybody that's been following the WAFCON would understand how frustrated we've been and been feeling about the commentary or so-called commentary, because it's exactly that. The ball goes to the Malawian players and she takes a kick and the goalkeeper takes it and throws it back to the Malawian. The Zambian is in control. What? It's been so appalling. Yes, I got to give credit this time around to the SABC, who, when you switch on to their commentary, it sounded alive, it's been relevant. There's been a sense of knowing who the individuals are, even nicknames being thrown in, a couple of jokes here and there. That is what football is about. But I just don't think there's been much effort given to the world feed, to the commentator and the commentary teams that have been assigned to such a massive, massive project, especially in the light of what we want to have achieved by the women on this continent as well. That has just really not been it. And still talking about our women, hey, it is that crucial stage. And I certainly wish the South African national women's team, Banyana, everything of the best for tonight as they play against Burkina Faso. That kickoff is going to be at the same time as Tanzania and Ivory Coast. Permutations galore here. But good luck. 10 o'clock is the kickoff. This is hashtag MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide. Proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Let's go! The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.
He's in a league of his own.
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
And it goes through to the boundary.
This is where sport breaks, bends, and gets told straight.
All of us there have our smallanyana skeletons.
Hashtag MSW on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
Well, I believe that at 7:45 this evening, the Springbok national team, the team that's going to be playing against Argentina this weekend, will be announced. So looking forward to that and a whole lot more, because the countdown has certainly begun. And that is why tonight, the big reveal for the men entrusted to conquer Buenos Aires. But this is far more than just the test against Argentina, I can tell you that much. This is the final audition, if you want to call it that, before rugby's greatest stage, before the All Blacks arrive, before the haka, before the collision, though, that will once again stop two rugby mad nations on their tracks. Kansia Kolisi, the likes of Eben Etzebeth. You're talking about Lued de Jager, Sasha Feinberg, and Gomezulu. Can they simply prove that they're ready to lead South Africa into battle? Is this the last piece of Rassie Rasmus's master plan before rugby's greatest rivalry explodes into life? So that's why joining us now and also live is one of South Africa's most respected rugby voices, independent media rugby writer, and also author of The Fireside Springbok, Mike Greenaway, to unpack the Springbok team announcement that we all are waiting with bated breath. What is it going to be? Hey, the challenge that's awaiting the Boks in Buenos Aires, and why this historic showdown, though, with New Zealand remains the greatest rivalry the sport has ever known. Mike, good evening and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening, Rob. Good evening, listeners. Yeah, good to be here. Yeah, it's yeah, we'll hear at 7:45 South African time just who is in that team, but we know who it is. It's pretty well illustrated already. Yeah, and Rassi has actually said it in quite a nice way. He said, "This is the final test before we play the All Blacks," and it is final, and it is in fact the last test before they play the All Blacks. But it's final in terms of a test to see where certain players are, and it's weird to think that players like Eben Etzebeth, Siya Kolisi, Lood de Jager, guys who have multiple caps, are in fact going into a test to see just how they are. So the way it works in the Springboks is it doesn't matter how many times you've played for the team. You have got to show that you are capable of starting in a test match against the All Blacks or against whoever it is, and that you are at your best. You're at the level of play that made you that multiple cap Springbok. So, I mean, you've got Eben, who's on 140 or the most capped Springbok of all time. You've got Siya Kolisi, who is probably our best ever Springbok captain and also well over 100. These guys have got to go out and show Rassi in this test match that they can pass the test in terms of their performance and in their health. So, yeah, everything to play for from this Springbok team. I can tell you, this is not a Springbok team going to Buenos Aires to go through the motions and have a kind of a dress rehearsal and a little bit of a warm-up. They are going out to beat the Pumas emphatically, and the players want to show that Rassi, that they are eligible for that first test against the All Blacks at Ellis Park.
Because it's been very little mileage at this level, Mike, and I fully agree with you that they have to be tested like everybody else, because like the last conversation we had is that Rassi has got so many other players waiting in line to take over the mantle from some of these great players way into the 100 caps as well. But since that very famous eye gouging incident, obviously Eben has gone through that ban and has gone through, very little game time as well. So it's just as important for him as it is for somebody who's 10 years younger than him and, Sasha Feinberg Mgomezulu.
Yeah, absolutely. So Eben, you're quite right. He played in November last year against Wales and then had that ban. He came back for the Sharks in October, I think it was. Immediately banged his hip and then was out again. Then he was supposed to come back against England. Then apparently had a head knock in a Springbok training session. So since November last year, Eben has played 50 minutes of rugby. Is he now ready to play the All Blacks? Look, we know that the Springbok training sessions are famously physical and often players say they're tougher than actual matches themselves. But yeah, look, I mean, he's got to get onto the field. He's got to put up that jersey on. He's got to go out and show Rassi that he is the Eben of old, because this is the beautiful thing about the Springboks. No one can rest on their laurels. No one can just bank on their experience that they have in terms of test caps. You've got to show that you are still the best in your position. And Rassi has been blooding players all through the year. Look, Eben will know that he can't go out and just expect to get picked against the All Blacks. He's got to show that he's still the Eben of old. Same with Kolisi, same with Lood de Jager. And another one that we need to talk about, Sasha Feinberg Mgomezulu. Of course, he's not quite the same
Far
age
from
as
old.
Eben. He's not that old. However, he knows that he's also got to perform, because Manie Libbok is the next in line, and Manie played really well in the Nation Championship matches. Handré Pollard, of course, our pedigree from 2 World Cups, he's there too. But Sasha knows he's got to hit the groove, he's got to play, he's got to perform. All these guys have got to perform, because back in South Africa, in Johannesburg, There's 25 guys all training, practicing for that first All Blacks test. And Rassie has said to all these senior guys, if you perform, I will pick you. If you don't, I won't, because I've got another squad of guys waiting. And what a great position for South African rugby to be in.
And it's hard to believe, though. I mean, you talk about Sasha Feinberg and Gomez Zulu's only, 24 years old, and the fact that he last played in May. I mean, he was injured in that URC quarterfinal against Cardiff and Cape Town. He's also just been the hallmark of what Springbok rugby should be and is all about. But the competition is there, Mike.
Yeah, look, Sasha, if he's on his game, is the number one Springbok fly half, and we know that now. I mean, you get Springbok supporters saying, "Oh, but Andre won us 2 World Cups," and he did. But times change, and Sasha really, honestly, he is. I'll say this again. I think I've said it before on your show. He is the Richie Mo'unga that the All Blacks wish they had. He really is just kind of like a little bit of a one-off, a generational talent, and I have no worries at all that he is going to play a blinder against. He's just one of those guys that has got the talent, and he's got youth on his side. He doesn't need much time in the saddle. I think he knows that, he's not special. Marnie's waiting in the sidelines. Sasha has to play. He has to play, and I think he will, because, like I say, a youngster, he doesn't need much time. The rust is not going to settle too long on that body.
And I know that they landed round about Sunday morning, time difference given, because they always travel in 2 different aircraft. I think they landed separately, with an hour's difference after midnight. They were given a day off just to acclimatize, because that time difference and the time zones play a very big factor. So you have to put your rest factor into it. But from where you stand, what makes Argentina, though, such a dangerous opponent on home soil, especially in Buenos Aires?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm glad you asked that question, Rob, because Argentina are really a country on trial in a way in terms of their sport. They really are. I mean, the disgraceful scenes at the end of the Football World Cup, we all know and are well documented. Then they've had a couple of Nations Championship matches in which both the players and their crowd support have behaved badly. I mean, we've had the crowd burning flags of the Union Jack against England just a couple of weeks ago in a Nations Championship match, holding up banners about the Malvinas, of course their name for the Falklands Islands, which was a subject of a 1980s war between England and Argentina. We've had their coach getting banned, Gonzalo Quesada, for abusing referees. We've had some of their players suspended after their last match, also for abusing referees. Thomas Albanaz, the fly half, bumping into the referee after they controversially lost their last game. So Argentina's sport really not in a good place, and what better place for them to strike back than to beat the world champion Springboks. So I can tell you now that the Pumas will be absolutely pumped up for this game, while understanding that they've got to actually put out a better look about their sport, because Argentina's rugby, soccer, call it what you like, they are a country who the world is looking at and thinking, come on guys, up your game on and off the field.
It's quite ironic, as you mentioned, that about Thomas Alvarez when he was remonstrating with the referee Angus Gardner. It was literally, about 3 days after the Argentinians themselves were busy with punch-ups after the final of being unhappy. So it was one of those weekends that Argentina came to the fore, Mike, for all the bad reasons. Now, the big question is, can they resuscitate that? Can they regain the faith overall come the weekend? Or are the Springboks just a little too good for them?
I think the Springboks will beat them and beat them fairly soundly for the reasons that, look, Rassie and his coaching staff understand completely, and that players will have understood by proxy just how important it is that they sign off in this last game, as I said, the final test in a number of ways, before they play their next match, was their first test against the All Blacks at Ellis Park on August 22. They don't want to go into that game having lost a match. So they understand how vital it is that they win this game and win it well. And all the sounds coming from the Springbok camp is that they're not seeing this as just a warm-up. They're seeing this as a vital test match for senior players to show they've still got it, and for the team to set a marker before they go into their greatest rivalry term.
Mike, I know that we're out of time, but are there still any tickets left? I get people every day asking me if they can still go purchase tickets for one of the greatest showpieces in world rugby.
Not for the first test at Ellis Park, not for the second test in Cape Town, but there are still tickets available for the third test, which is at the F&B Stadium in Joburg. And yes, there are tickets for Baltimore in the USA if you've got cash in the pocket for a long-distance flight.
Oh, my goodness. I think a lot of people are still recovering from the FIFA World Cup, going to the United States of America. But you know what, guys? Hey, we've seen worse. Football being played in Baltimore, USA, 11 p.m. kickoff. Save that money. Mike Greenaway and I will be collecting a couple of funds as well. Maybe we can make a plan there, Mike. What do you think?
Calling all sponsors.
You know the story. Well, looking forward, I do hear some rumblings that the Room Dividers should be back on radio pretty soon. We'll tell all our listeners and shareholders when that is going to happen. I look forward to that and all the conversations. Mike Greenaway, independent media, as well as rugby writer and author of A Springbok History, The Fireside Springbok, joining us right here on hashtag MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide. How ready are you for the Argentinian clash? But more importantly, all those games against the All Blacks. It all starts on Friday, hey? The DHL Stormers are going to be playing the All Blacks down in Cape Town. You saw what a warm welcome they received down in Cape Town. Much love, the All Blacks, but respect, I guess, and history comes a long way.
Hashtag MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live at the same time. Hashtag MSW.
New shape, new joy. Unfold more of what you love with the all-new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8. A bigger screen when you need it, a compact design when you don't, and Galaxy AI that helps you capture, create, and explore with ease. That's on Joy Maxing. Pre-order the all-new Galaxy Z Fold 8 and get up to 1,500 Rand worth of accessories. Offer available at participating stores until 12 August. T's and C's apply.
Life is full of surprises, but your insurance premiums shouldn't be. Savings on your car insurance is a sure thing with MyWay. Leaving your wallet smiling every month. Switch to MyWay and save up to 40% on your car insurance premiums today and live your way.
Real people, real cars, real savings. For a quote, visit myway.co.za. Premiums are risk profile dependent. MyWay is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply. MyWay. Live your way.
It's season 2, and the stakes are even higher. South Africa's favorite stars are back at the briefcase, playing for charities close to home and close to the heart. Big names, big hearts, big deals, all made possible by Lotto Star. Don't miss Deal or No Deal Celebrity South Africa, Saturdays at 6 p.m. on SABC1.
Lotto Stars, licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
How does a full year of free boat rides sound?
I'm Tundi from the Bolt Safety Team, and we're giving away Bolt credit and branded merch to lucky riders who verify their accounts. It's super easy. Open the app, click account, then click profile, and follow the prompts. Stay safe and win a year of free rides with the Bolt Safety Team. Verified riders, verified drivers. T's and C's apply.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports. No more disconnected systems. No more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on iStratGo.com. iStratgo.com.
There comes a moment when you stop chasing the next thing and start choosing what truly fits your life. The Bike X55 Plus Premium and all new B30 are built for those moments. Premium design, intelligent technology, refined comfort, exceptional value. Because success isn't about making a statement, it's about making the right choice. Visit bikesa.co.za to explore the vehicle ranges or book your test drive today. Bike, drive your ambition.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Mr. Infantino has made a lot of headlines, pretty much all for the wrong reasons, and now it looks like he's a dead man walking.
Tariq Panja joins us. Currency is a lot of money, but is it always just about the money, or is it about a bigger picture?
Yeah, this is it. This is about football development. Is it improving in Africa, and all of this. I remember being at the World Cup, and we had nine teams from CAF qualify for the last 32. Everyone was like jumping up and down, saying, look, we've got 9 from the... But I was just like, hang on, the last World Cup was 32 teams. So we're just as we are. Let's wait until the quarterfinals. Let's wait until deeper into the tournament, and then we can have this rush to judgment about how successful all of these programs have been. African football is ready to really, as you know better than me, to really kick on. Has it kicked on massively under Motsepe and Infantino? I don't think so. I just think there's been a huge amount of controversy.
#MSW. #MSW.
Good evening, Rob. I just want to wish Banyana all the best for tonight. I just hope the coach will start with a well-balanced midfield with Amos, Amokhala Mutau, and get Isabel Ludwig as well, and Doné together with the breadwinner, because we need strong firing power up front, but we also need to limit the role that we are playing with the goalkeeper playing as a sweeper keeper, because that formation seems like it's something that we're not comfortable with, and we easily concede goals playing in that fashion. Thank you so much.
Tebogo, thank you so much indeed. Great analysis ahead of the Burkina Faso versus Banyana game. That's exactly at 10 o'clock South African time. And also Tanzania play against Cote d'Ivoire. Well, I guess to all the sports lovers, we might have not spoken about this much because we've been watching it a hell of a lot, I can tell you that much, and I know a lot of South Africans have been keeping an eye on the Commonwealth Games, but the curtain has certainly fallen on the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Team South Africa, I mean, they returned back home with heads held firmly high. That campaign packed with golden moments, and I mean that literally. I mean, there was history-making performances, stories of resilience that inspired an entire nation. I look at the brilliance of somebody like Sinesipho Dambile, storming to gold in the men's 200 meters. There was also the great old Chadlet Lowe, writing yet another chapter in sporting history as the most decorated Commonwealth Games athlete of all time, with an astonishing 21 medals. 21 medals, the green and gold, we can all say, flew proudly across Scotland. And to break all that down, we're going to bring somebody who knows all about what I'm talking about. And you got to add to that the breakthrough performances that were hard and podium finishes, unforgettable displays of determination. And also there's no doubt, though, that Team South Africa has left a lasting mark on these games. But what do these performances say, though, about the future of South African sport? I mean, who are the biggest stars? If you're watching, please let me know which moments will define Glasgow 2026. and where can Team South Africa improve ahead of the next major international event? Well, to unpack it all, I'm joined by sports reporter from The Citizen, Wesley Button. Wesley, thank you so much for your time. Long time no speak. Good evening and welcome to the show. Hope you can hear me loud and clear, Wes. Good evening.
I can. Can you hear me,
Yeah,
Robert?
there you are. I thought you were trying to disappear like some of these other nations trying to steal our gold medals, eh? What do you make overall of what happened with Team South Africa with the 2026 Commonwealth Games, Wes?
Man, I always want to just shout and rah, and South Africa's doing so well. But honestly, Robert, I think there's a lot of positives that we can take, specifically the swimming team. The swimming team were absolutely incredible. They got 22 medals. They've got more medals than they've ever had at the Commonwealth Games. So that's obviously, I think the highlight that comes out of everything, led by Peter Coetzee, who got 6 medals, backstroke specialist, looking ahead to the next Olympics. I think he's our guy. But I think there's a lot of questions that are being asked about other sports. And it was a weird Commonwealth Games because of monetary issues. They didn't have a lot of the sports that they normally have. So it's kind of difficult to gauge things. But just in terms of, the next biggest sport at the Olympics, athletics, I feel like we fell quite far short. So good things, bad things, but maybe gives us an indication of what we need to work on, just building up to the next Olympics.
Let's start with the good news, though. You talk about swimming very glowingly, and that's always been, whether it's the days of Penny Haynes or even Chandler Clough, the fact that we herald him now in 2026 is something for South Africans to be proud of. Maybe let's start with a man who doesn't want to be old, and Chandler Clough. He keeps himself in peak form, is always very disciplined as an athlete. What do you make of his performances, and what does that signify, though, to South African swimmers overall?
I can't say enough good things about Chandler Clough. If we look back to the 2012 Olympics where he beat Michael Phelps, I thought that, and I think a lot of people did, that Clough was going to become an absolute phenom in sport. He really looked like he was the next big thing in South African sports. And I think even Chad would agree that he probably hasn't achieved as much as maybe we expected from him. But he made his Commonwealth Games debut back in 2010. That was 16 years ago, and the guy's still competing. He's still picking up medals. And considering the form that he's in, even looking ahead again to the next Olympics, he could be a key member of the relay teams. So just in terms of longevity, how do you get any better than that? How do you, especially as a swimmer, right? Swimmers don't last very long. They kind of come through as teenagers, and by their mid-20s, they've peaked. When you're in your mid-30s and you're still going strong and you're still competitive and you're still one of the key members of the national team, regardless of what he's done or maybe what we thought that or what we hoped he was going to do that he hasn't done, that's kind of irrelevant. To become the most decorated athlete in any sport in the history of the Commonwealth Games, just that alone, I think, just shows what an incredible athlete Chad.
I watched that as he came out the water. There was almost an admiration from the other swimmers who looked at him almost like, fanboying him and saying, here's one of the greatest, and we're swimming against him. He might not have come first, but there's just a global recognition here, Wes, of who and what he's all about.
Yeah, for sure. And like I'm saying, we couldn't have... you can't ask more for an athlete to, especially, when you listen to Chad after he's raced in South African kit, he really loves this country so much, and he appreciates where he is, and he always has, he's always had this emotional sort of aura about him, and he when he got his record medal at the Commonwealth Games, he went on to get one more. But when he became the most decorated male athlete at the Games in Glasgow, he wasn't even in the pool. So he swam in the heats and then wasn't there for the final, which meant that he didn't get to stand on the podium. But if you speak to the other athletes who were swimming in that final, and if you speak to Chad himself, it's very clear that they made it about him. You know, like we appreciate him so much. And I think South African swimming has to, and not just South African swimming, right? I mean, South African sport, we've got to look back on this guy's career and we've got to appreciate the things that he's done for South Africa. To compete in 5 Commonwealth Games and get medals at every single edition of them, to compete in multiple editions of the Olympic Games and get 4 medals, to compete in however many editions of the World Swimming Championships and to get medals. Like, you don't see this, especially in swimming. And yeah, like, I think South Africa's heart has to go out to Chad le Clos. We have to appreciate the man for what he's done.
Yeah, especially with all the struggles that he has publicly spoken about. It's difficult from a mental perspective, again, whereas to rise from that and be as great as he's been. But let's not take it away from a guy like Pieter Coetzee. I mean, winning 3 individual gold medals in the backstroke, 2 in the relay, that is something of championship winning mentality. I don't know. What's your take and what's the future here?
So I think he is our future, right? So if we're looking ahead to the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles, I think Pieter Coetzee is the guy that we have to look for. We have other athletes in different sports who will be challenging for medals, no doubt, but he's our guy. Looking ahead to 2028, Pieter Coetzee, and it's hard to gauge with the Commonwealth Games. You know, you're missing a lot of countries that are going to be at the Olympics. You're missing the United States. You're missing Russia. You're missing China. So we have to take that into account. But he dominated all 3 of those backstroke finals in Glasgow. And looking ahead to the next Olympic Games, aside from his individual events, he's going to be absolutely key in trying to get us medals in relay events. And, you know, we were just talking about Chad le Clos. The way that we looked at Chad le Clos sort of from 2010, 2012 onwards, Pieter Coetzee is now the guy. He's our guy. And we have to back him 100%. And we have to make sure that he's getting the funding and the support and that everything that he needs. Because I think looking ahead to the 2028 Olympics, it's Pieter Coetzee that's going to carry us. In the same way that we hope that Chad le Clos would, Pieter Coetzee is the next guy. And he proved that at the World Junior Championships, the World Senior Championships, the Commonwealth Games. The next step is the Olympics.
But Lara van Niekerk in swimming, as well as Nathan Hendricks and Christian Sadie for the Paris swimming, together with Sinesipho Dambile within athletics. I mean, we'll talk about that separately. But let's deal with Lara as well as Nathan and Christian. What do you make of their performances? They also added to a gold medal count.
Yeah, I think Nathan and Christian both, you know, we were kind of banking on them going in, and they delivered exactly the way that we hoped they would. And that kind of experience you can't buy. So again, looking ahead, I think those are people that we can look towards. Lara van Niekerk was an incredibly talented junior swimmer. And she did amazing things at the last edition of the Commonwealth Games. And then she had multiple issues, you know, both in terms of injury and things outside the pool. Like you were saying earlier, Chad le Clos had similar problems. And, you know, I think it's very difficult to perform at your best when you're having all these things that are going on. And I was actually almost at the point where I was going to write Lara van Niekerk off. I didn't think that we were going to see much more of her. And for her to come out and win a gold in the 50 breaststroke is incredible. It really is. It shows that she's perhaps overcome some of those issues that she's dealing with. And again, looking ahead to the 2028 Olympics, it's an indication that we have another athlete there who has managed to shake off whatever problems that she's had. And maybe we've got some medals in the bank there from her as well.
Sinesipho Dambile, I mean, that sub-20-second gold in the 200 meters, absolutely sensational as far as I'm concerned. I mean, how significant is that achievement for SA Athletics?
Oh, it's incredible. In terms of track and field athletics at the moment, like kind of everything is geared towards sprinting. It's not that people are not investing in other disciplines. It's just that for some reason over the last 10 years, our sprinting has gotten better and better and better. And it's kind of wobbly at the moment. We have some very talented youngsters, And we have the likes of, say, Akani Simbine, who's kind of at the back end of his career. And we need guys who are stable enough and consistent enough to perform. And I think the one person that stood out in South African sprinting this year is Sinesipho Dambile. He's been absolutely incredible. He's won a couple of Diamond League races. He's gone under 19.8 twice now in the 200 meters. And he pulled it through. I think that's what you want to see. You want to see an athlete who is capable of pulling it off on the big stage. And Dambile did that. He did that at the Commonwealth Games. Unfortunately, we didn't see him in the relay. I think we will at the next Olympics. I'm pretty sure that he'll be part of the team there. Wasn't in Glasgow. But in terms of what he did in his individual 200 meters, we couldn't have asked for more. We need guys like that who are able to stand on the big stage under pressure in a final, come through, get the gold medal. And we haven't seen a lot of that from our sprinters in recent years. So Dambile is the guy. And looking ahead to the next Olympics, I think he's another one we need to watch.
All right, Wesley Button, I don't know if you have a bit of time for me after the break. I got a question here. Maybe let's just allow it to sink in and we might answer it shortly.
Good evening, Rob. Good evening also to the listeners. I've got a question for your journalist there, Mr. Wesley. What happened to Matthew Sates, the young swimmer that I think he went to the Olympics in Tokyo 2021? And because I read a story a couple of weeks ago that he wants to represent Australia. I don't know if that is true. I don't know if Wesley has some background on that story in terms of what is going on with Matthew. Have you lost Matthew Sates, or was it just rumors that? Because I didn't see him in the current games. I don't know if I missed him in the Australian team. Thank you.
All right, we'll come back with an answer.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Mavis, I wonder if I should sell my car. I'm not sure where to go.
Wanna sell your car, but don't know what to do. You don't have to go far, we come to you. If you're rolling in a 1.5 or a Lacquer 2.2, doesn't matter what you drive, we buy cars once you.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
Many of us take taking a deep breath for granted. But for some infants with RSV, every breath is a battle. Respiratory syncytial virus is a contagious virus that can lead to serious illnesses, including lung infections. Fortunately, protection for infants against RSV is now available in South Africa. Ask your healthcare provider about keeping your baby protected during their first RSV season.
Don't worry, bro. That noise just means the engine is purring. Like a lion.
It's not a purr, man. Your clutch is slipping. Pull into Goldwagen right now.
Goldwagen? For Nissan?
Yes. They supply precision-engineered Schaeffler clutches, wheel bearings and timing kits for Ford, Hyundai, Nissan and more.
Wow. What about Toyotas and Suzuki's?
Goldwagen has quality vehicle parts for every brand.
Okay, I'm going.
Goldwagen. Keep on driving.
Food Lovers Market is bringing you the best value this Big Deal Wednesday. Buy 5 large avocados for only 50 Rand and get 2 1 kg tomato thrift packs absolutely free. And save big on delicious 16-piece chicken braai packs at a low 49.99 per kilo. Now that's great value. Valid this Wednesday only at all inland Food Lovers Market stores. It's in the experience.
Chamberlain is now in the 4th generation and at 10 locations throughout Gauteng, with a new branch in the East Rand in September. Our differentiator is our long-serving and loyal staff, available and knowledgeable. Can we help you? Big on stock, strong on service, built on values. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
As a mom, you're the moment maker. With Lancewood by your side, of course. The everyday breakfast toast spreader. The snack-packed lunchbox maker. The don't forget this for later packer. The one more hug before you leave, and sister. And when everything quietens down, A moment for yourself, taker. With creamy, indulgent spoonfuls of Lancewood double cream yogurt. Obviously. Lancewood. Quality time.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Here's the man himself, Bafana defender and Rangers' newest signing, ladies and gentlemen, all the way to Makanya, and there's an age factor on your side, given how young you are.
Yeah, true. But I feel like age is just a number, and I feel like if you have what it takes, then definitely you can go in there and do your thing.
Because I also had a look at what the fans were saying. You know, the Rangers fans were saying that already, talking about you as a long-term solution in defense. I mean, how are you dealing with that?
Honestly, for me, I would say I somehow kind of like enjoy the pressure because, you know, I feel like I play or perform at my best when I'm under pressure than when I'm just chilled. Because, you know, being under pressure like forces you to be always, doing the right thing in the right time at the right time. So I feel like the pressure is just there to make me better.
Everybody has a dream.
#MSW. #MSW.
All right, so it's gone 15 minutes to the hour. It is #MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide. Chatting to Wesley Button, sports reporter with The Citizen, as a well-renowned friend of #MSW, joining us right here to talk everything to do with the Commonwealth Games. And as I'm looking at the lines buzzing, all the voice notes that are coming in, I did ask Wes to stay with us. Wesley, I appreciate your indulgence. That question that popped up just before the break regarding Matthew Sates, who is South African, who we know has represented South Africa before at the Olympic Games. Is it true about what's going to happen to him? Is he heading off to Australia?
Yeah, I think he is. And this opens a bigger question, I think, in terms of what's happening with South African sports. If we look at Olympic sports, I think it's becoming more and more of a problem because Matthew Sates was a phenomenal young swimmer. As a teenager, he got a gold medal for South Africa in the 200-meter individual medley at the World Championships back in 2022 in Melbourne. And he actually got 2 medals at those championships. And then we never really heard much more from him. He didn't come through. He didn't achieve much more. And he's now, as far as I'm aware, he is jumping ship. So he's going to be trying to get Australian citizenship or has already, and he'll be representing Australia in the future. But we also have an incredible young sprinter from South Africa, Benji Richardson, on the track, who has now committed to compete for Ireland. And he's another youngster who got medals at the World Junior Championships. And, as much as we haven't seen from Matthew Sates over the last few years, and Benji Richardson as well, like even at the moment, perhaps not producing his best form, I just think, why are we not holding on to these people? Why would Matthew Sates want to go and swim for Australia? Why would Benji Richardson want to go and run for Ireland? And I think it's because they're just not getting enough support. So it's a very good question from your listener. Yes, Matthew Sates is going to try and compete for Australia, but I think as South Africa, we need to start asking these questions. Why are these people leaving, and why are we not doing enough to hold on to them?
Maybe we need to track down Matthew Sates. That'll be my next homework as far as trying to find out. And while we're on the break, one of the things I try to check, Wesley, you probably know this more than I do, with the recent update to the World Aquatics rules, that they only require a 1-year absence from representing a prior country to change your sporting citizenship. So in his case, he could slide straight into the Australian team.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, in athletics, it's a bit more strict. So I think Benji Richardson is going to have to wait like 3 years before he can compete for Ireland, which is an indication of how much he wanted to leave, right? If you're willing to wait 3 years before you represent another country. But yes, Matthew Sates could be competing for Australia as early as next season. And it would be kind of horrible for us to watch him competing in yellow kits at the next Olympics and maybe getting a medal. And I don't know if he will. Like, obviously, we can't tell the future, but we've got to hold on to these people. We really do. If someone's performing that well as a junior at senior level, exactly the same with Matthew Sates and Benji Richardson, why aren't we holding on to these people? Why are we not investing enough that they feel like they want to hold on to their South African roots? And we've seen this in other sports, right? We see cricket players competing for England who are actually South African, and they've jumped ship. And we need to, I don't know, Robert. I think that we just need to do more effort to hold on to these people.
That's why I'm saying that if we haven't learned from the past again, Wesley, where similar things have happened, tennis players, like you rightfully say, rugby players have been going as far as playing for the likes of Japan and so on. What is it that we're doing wrong? Should we put it in the doorstep of Swimming SA? Should we directly approach the minister? Because at some point the ministry has got to intervene. There's a SASCOG element to it. So there are many different questions that have to be asked. But for me, I would go directly to Matthew and just really find out what's going on deep down inside, because he is somebody that wants to achieve, has achieved, but is not getting the recognition.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to Wes. Wes, do you perhaps know if SASCOG has got a talent pathway strategy or high performance plan to support these athletes that did well at the Commonwealth Games and prepare them thoroughly and to ensure that they are not lost in the system as we prepare for the upcoming Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles? Just want to hear your views around that.
Well, Tebogo, thank you so much. Wes?
Yeah, they do. Probably not as extensive as we would like. They do have the Operation Excellence program at SASCOG, which provides funding for athletes. I've never really bought into the Operation Excellence program because I feel like they're basically funding the top tier, right? So once you've made it as an athlete, once you're already competing at the highest level, once you've got sponsors, that's when they start backing you. And I feel like the problem with the OPEX program that SASCOG has is that they should not be looking at the top tier elite athletes that are already able to fund themselves. They should be looking at the second tier, third tier people. They should be looking at juniors and trying to provide opportunities and funding for people that don't have it. It just doesn't make sense to me that you would fund someone who's already made it to the top. You've got to fund the people, identify the talent, like your listener just said. Someone has performed well at the Commonwealth Games. Maybe get behind some of those youngsters. Maybe start giving them some support so that over the next couple of years you can give them whatever they need to get to the next Olympics and be able to compete against the best in the world. Our elite top athletes don't need it. They don't need the funding. They've got the sponsorships. They've got what they need. And I feel like it's just a weak sort of approach, right? Like it's almost a way of saying, okay, we've got this funding, and this is who we're going to give it to, rather than taking the time and the effort to understand that those people at the top don't need that support. The people coming through at the bottom are the ones who need the support. And if you speak to those athletes, those youngsters, like we're talking about Matthew Sates now, we're talking about Benji Richardson. That's why we're losing them. We're losing them because we're not helping them. We're giving the money that's available to the people who don't need it.
Sure. Wesley, I think you've sparked off something here. We'll definitely do our homework from our side and follow up on those stories, because as South Africans, when it gets to the top tier of a competition like the Olympic Games, we really want to relive our potential. Let's not let the souls of the likes of, Josiah Tugwane go to waste, where he sits back and says, where's the next generation of what I achieved? Or Penny Haynes to say, where's the next generation of what I've achieved? And I think it will only be wrong for us as observers, as journalists, as on-air individuals, to not be able to fight the fight on behalf of those that we know that if given a fair chance, they would fight for the flag. Wesley Button, as always, I appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much indeed for that.
Thank you, Robert. Keep well, mate.
Thank you very much. That's Citizen Sports reporter Wesley Button joining us right here on #MSW. Yeah, well done to all the athletes, man. Well done. When you look at all the medal hauls, the individuals that have been part and parcel of it, different sporting codes. Also, well done to the para-athletics team. I'm talking about Masala Masuku as well, Makutu, who also did extremely well. Timothy Mwesen, who did well in the 81 kg, the judo. Kale Rademeyer, the pole vault. Oh, well done. Earning silver medals as far as that is concerned. And of course, there was this moment.
Taking the stable out of Salipi. Brown away well with Dambile out wide. Kennedy certainly given himself every possible chance into the straight. Omorizuki and Taylor. Kennedy on the outside. And then Dambile coming through. It's going to be the favourite. The favourite who wins the gold medal. It's Dambile of South Africa from Omorizuki of Nigeria. And in third place, Taylor of Jamaica.
But what a moment. We watched that in real time at the Commonwealth Games, storming to gold in the men's 200 meters with that blistering 19.96 seconds. Sinesipho Dambile. Good evening and welcome to the show, champ.
Good day. How are you?
I'm happy. I'm proud. I want to congratulate you for making us all so happy. What's the feeling and welcome back home?
Thank you so much. It was a moment, you know. It was a special one. That was for me. Yeah, I was well prepared for that, and definitely wanted to make South Africa proud as well. So it was good.
When the gun went firing off, I mean, did you ever imagine a time of 19.96?
Man, like for me, it was never even about the time. You know, the moment was bigger than anything. For me, all I wanted was to win the gold and to enjoy each and every moment. Just like I said, when we get to the championship, it's no longer about the time. We throw everything outside. It's up to who execute the best in the final. And I did exactly that. And then it gave me the gold. So I wasn't actually looking at the time.
I mean, I almost threw something at the television because I know how difficult it can be sometimes, you know, when you're running in the inside lane. And I was looking out for you and you weren't appearing up until that final straight. What were you feeling and at what stage did you believe that you've got this?
Yeah, I really stayed patient. You know, I didn't want to panic in those moments because a lot of athletes do panic in those moments when they don't run the curve that they actually would have hoped to run in the final. And then in big stage like that, and you make a slight mistake and then you're out of the final. So for me, staying patient, making sure that I'm relaxed. And then I definitely did believe that I had a lot on my turn. I did believe that my strongest part of the race is always the last 50. So I just kept making sure that I keep everyone into my pocket. And then when I went on the straight, I knew that I had it.
We saw you earlier this year, though, Sinesipho, when you won your first Diamond League race, and now you're a Commonwealth champion. I mean, what has changed in your athletics this season?
Man, it's the exposure is always been beautiful out there, you know. For me, as an athlete, I've grown as well, you know. Because at the end of the day, for me, I want to compete against the best guys in the world. That's what I've been working for my whole life. And now being on the circuit where I can literally say I'm one of the top 1%, the best runners in the 200 meter in the world, it's been insane. And just being able to be invited in those Diamond Leagues without me even saying I want to go to that Diamond League. Them sending calls, you say, yo, we need Dambile there, we need Dambile there, we need Dambile there. It's an honor, and for me, it did change me. It did change all the way things are happening right now in my life.
I mean, your former coach, Thabo Matibedi, I mean, he's moved now to Malaysia. He's one of the people that you dedicated part of your success to your support team too. What's your feeling now that he's left us? I spoke to him about a week ago, and he's off to Malaysia.
Yeah, I mean, it's not nice, you know, the fact that our coach, the guy that I started my athletics with, and then now it's literally leaving in the middle of the season. And I would have hoped and I would have liked that he could have stayed until the end of the season, and then, you know, but he had to do what he had to do in that moment. And we had a great success together, you know. I give him all the credit in the world. He did literally played a big role into my career and making sure that I'm this athlete that I am today. And he did teach me a lot, and he got another opportunity now to go right as a coach. I know he's a great coach. I know he's going to do great where he's going, and it's always been focused. He knows what he's doing.
What was the welcome like when you got back home?
Man, just insane, you know. It was just hectic, man. Like seeing my teammates, seeing Gift and them, it's just been that moment for me, and I love it. I love it because it's something that we spoke about earlier in the year, the time we were running South African season, going to a European tour. We were preparing for this moment, and my goal this year, the biggest goal that I had was making sure that I win the Commonwealth, and I did exactly that, and I've achieved my biggest goal that I had for the year. So it's definitely been insane, and the fact that I was able to go out there and go as the favorite and making sure that I rise under the pressure that I had, and it shows that I am the person that I think I am.
Oh, Sinesipho, I love your confidence, man. That's why we can proudly talk about you in the same sentence as the likes of the great Frankie Fredericks. I mean, that's a major, major achievement.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. That's a legend in our sport. That's definitely a legend. And seeing my name up there, definitely, it shows that the commitment and the work that I'm doing is actually paying off. So I love that.
What was the first meal you looked forward to having when you got back home?
Hot body chicken, some dumplings. That's what I'm hoping that I will have tonight. And yeah, that's actually my favorite meal. So I'm hoping to have that tonight. Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping to have that tonight.
The dombola.
The dombola, yeah.
I hope they make that for you because it's been a long flight, and welcome back home. Like I say, you deserve all the mlekwa that you can possibly get.
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, please, man, continue the great work. I look forward to having you in studio one of these days, just to talk more about your past, your background, the family life, and also just your dedication to the sport. And here we are today, 1996. It's the last time we won an Africa Cup of Nations, so that's why it's easy to remember 19.96 as your time. Yeah. So thanks so much, Tata, man. Have a good time at home. And like I say,
I appreciate you.
We appreciate you,
so
Baba. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's 3-time South African 200-meter champion Sinesipho Dambile, just arriving back home to Mzansi, and all he wants is umleqwa. If you don't know what that is, I can't help you. Ask the person right next to you. We'll be right next to you when you come back here on #MSW tomorrow. Probably brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
The thrill, the drama, the action. Let the game begin. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.